In this course, you're going to learn everything you need to get started with Python. Just be aware that I've designed this course for beginners, Python is the world's fastest growing and most popular programming language, not just amongst software developers, but also amongst mathematicians, data analysts, scientists, accountants, network engineers, and even kids. In fact, it's the ideal programming language to learn first. But what makes Python so special? Here are 6 reasons. With Python, you can solve complex problems in less time with fewer lines of code than many other languages. That's why huge companies like Google, Spotify, Dropbox, and Facebook have embraced this beautiful and powerful language. Here's an example. Let's say we want to extract the first 3 characters of the text "Hello World." This is the code we would have to write in C#. This is how we would do this in JavaScript. And here's how we would do it in Python. See how clean and simple the language is? And that's just the beginning. Python is a multi-purpose language, and you can use it for a wide range of jobs such as data analysis, AI and machine learning, writing automation scripts, building web, mobile, and desktop applications, as well as software testing or even hacking. So if you want a high-paying, long-lasting career in any of these areas, especially AI and machine learning, Python is the language to put those opportunities at your fingertips. In fact, according to Indeed.com, the average salary of a Python developer in the US was over $115,000 in March 2018. And here are 4 more reasons that make Python the most desirable language. Python is a high-level language, so you don't have to worry about complex tasks such as memory management as you do in C++. It's cross-platform, which means you can build and run Python apps on Windows, Mac, and Linux. It has a huge community, so whenever you get stuck, there's someone out there to help. And it has a large ecosystem of libraries, frameworks, and tools. Whatever you want to do, it is likely that someone else has done it before, because Python has been around for over 20 years. There are 2 versions of Python out there. Python 2, which is the legacy version of Python, and is going to be supported until year 2020. And Python 3, which is Python for the future. In this course, you're going to learn Python 3. Alright, now we're ready to download and install Python. The first thing I want you to do is to open up your browser and head over to python.org. On this page, under the downloads, you can see the latest version of Python. Currently, the latest version is 3.7. Chances are in the future when you're watching this video, there's a newer version available. Don't worry, all the materials in this course will continue to apply with the future versions of Python. So go ahead and download Python and then run it. If you're on Windows, you're going to see this checkbox here, Add Python to Path. This is very important. Make sure to tick it, otherwise you're not going to be able to follow the course. So now go ahead and install it. Now let's verify that we have installed Python properly. If you're on Windows, here in this search bar, type CMD, which is short for command prompt. Now here in command prompt, type Python. You can see we have successfully installed Python version 3.7. Now to exit, press Ctrl Z and then enter. Done. If you're on Mac, press Command and space. This opens up the Spotlight search. So here type terminal. Terminal on Mac is like command prompt on Windows. Now Mac and Linux by default come with an older version of Python, that is version 2. So if you type Python, you can see Python 2 here. That's not what we want. So press Ctrl D to exit and then run Python 3. And this verifies that we have successfully installed Python 3.7. So this environment you see here is what we call Python interpreter, which is basically a program that executes Python code. We can type our Python code in a file and give it to this interpreter, or we can type our code directly here in this interactive shell. So here we can write an expression like 2 plus 2. In programming, an expression is a piece of code that produces a value. So here, when we add 2 plus 2, we get a value. That is why we refer to this piece of code as an expression. So enter, we get 4. Let's try a different kind of expression. Let's see if 2 is greater than 1. We get true, which is an example of a Boolean value. You're going to learn about these Boolean values in the next section. Now, what if we type 2 is greater than 5? Enter, we get false. So in programming, we have true and false, which are similar to yes and no in English. Now, what if we type 2 is greater than, but we don't add a second value here? Just press enter. We get a syntax error. In programming, syntax means grammar. So just like we have the concept of grammar in the languages that we speak, we have the exact same concept in programming. If we write a sentence that is not grammatically correct, chances are some people may not understand that sentence. So in this example, we have this expression which is incomplete. It doesn't have the right grammar or syntax. That is why Python interpreter is complaining by returning an error. So this interactive shell is a great way to quickly experiment with a bit of Python code. But that's not how we build real-world applications. To do that, we need a code editor. And that's what I'm going to show you in the next lecture.